Welcome back to building this Monogram 1965 Shelby GT350 Mustang. I mentioned this car is pretty special to me because during my youth, my neighbor had one, and I was pretty obsessed with it. That's a little Tim Custom in the passenger seat. This will be a unique build, as I'm building this without the aid of paint for Sodak Model Cars Naked Model Group Build. I think this is a pretty interesting challenge, and I suggest it to modelers of any skill level. In the previous installment, I explained the plan for this project. To combine this molded in white kit with this molded in black kit. If you missed that, I hope you go back and check that out. But for this installment, I hope I don't get the naked police called on me. Let's get back to the bench.
Moving on to the interior of the Mustang, I have a black interior from the Hertz car. The issue here is some of the specific GT350 parts, most notably the rear seat cover, and it comes with this really cool spare tire. I don't think it was factory that they had them, but that's how the one I rode in, it had the tire in the back seat, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I have a black dashboard. That is fortunate. It has a separate chrome piece that is specific to the 65 instrument panel, which is cool. The rest of this I think I can detail out with some foil, and I don't think 65 GT350s had a radio. And I don't know if I want to grind that out. The unfortunate thing is this piece right here. This is unique to the 65 GT350 because a 66 had just a piece of tack. I don't know what that means. It has a separate piece for a tack that goes on here instead of the Shelby pod, which is really cool. But unfortunately, that's white, and we have to come up with a way to make these white pieces black without paint. Which brings me to this. I've used this before, and this is simply a piece of craft vinyl. Oracle Economy Cal 641. And it is matte black and sticky. And I think I can cover these pieces. And this gauge pod has a very unfortunate sink mark right in the middle. And so I think I'm going to cover this with vinyl. But the rest of this, I don't think I can do with vinyl because it goes in deep. Fortunately, Sodak does allow us to use Sharpies. And I think I'm going to just have to color the face of it black. Which I'm trying not to use this kind of stuff. But for this particular thing, it must be done. Let's get busy. I like clean desk. I have a variety of black Sharpies here from the Staples Duramark, a fine tooth Sharpie, and the classic Sharpie. Hoping these will work to color this. Let's see what happens. Oh no. This looks horrid. It's I don't think this is going to work. Can I get down into the crevasses? Because it doesn't really want to get, doesn't want to focus or get into the crevasses. Maybe if I just cram cram it in there. I think this is going to take a couple of coats to really make this black. And I think I'm going to just go in and color the top of it. Now, just in case the vinyl doesn't cover every piece of this. And, oh man, this is making a mess. Oh, it did not dry. Okay. I think I should have wore some gloves for this. Because this is a mess. That's okay. We're going to just do that. We're going to just set it down. And ew, I kind of need to go get this off. Help. I'll be right back. Okay. I think I have destroyed 3 Sharpies to get this piece black. And I don't think I have that many holidays. And I'm going to clean up the gauges and make those look good. But we just needed to make it black right now. And then the spare tire, I want to just color the edges. Just in case the vinyl doesn't hunker down exactly how it needs to. Then you won't see the white, hopefully. So that's my idea there. Instead of just coloring the whole thing black, I don't think that's really fair. And then we got this piece. So let's just cut some vinyl and see if I can make this stuff not white anymore. If I get this on with no air bubbles, that's going to be amazing. So let's see what this looks like. There's that piece. It's obviously black now. Spare tire cover. That looks pretty cool. We have black seats. I think I'm going to jazz these up with some foil. And interior's coming along. And finally, the dash piece with its black dash pod. That's the vinyl. Did a pretty good job hiding that seat mark. And then the Sharpie, it's a little purpley. But I think once I get the gauges on and everything else done, it's not going to be all that noticeable. And if anything, this kind of shows you don't necessarily need paint or anything, but, you know, when you look at things as far as what it actually needs to be in the materials, you know, sometimes even the vinyl looks better than if I painted that kit part. So kind of look at vinyl. There's a lot of it out there. I went on and assembled the engine using the black parts, obviously, because GT350s had black engines. So that was kind of cool. Very convenient that they weren't the typical Ford engine blue, or some of them I think were even gold. So that's going to work. And the one of the things about this engine is that it had an aluminum intake. And white isn't going to cut it. And I just don't like the black to have a big old black blob. So I'm thinking about what to do about that. Fortunately, there's a bunch of chrome goodies that go on this. That's going to help things, and I'm even thinking on that. But this intake kind of has me puzzled. Sodak says I can use Sharpies, silver Sharpies, and I'm just like, if I can use a silver Sharpie, I think I got something better. So here's something better. I have these Gallery Metallic Series markers. I've had these for a little bit, and I kind of wanted to test them out. I have all these colors in the series, and what's in here? That's what you get. And these look very nice. I have some instructions. Please follow these steps when using the marker. Shake. That's what I figured. Press cap down. Press nib down continuously until ink oozes out. Oh, so this is ink. It's not paint. I can use that. That's pretty neat. Do not squeeze the tip of the marker pen during writing. So I guess you just don't cram it down. So what's this one? This one looks pretty neat. Aluminum. Let's try this out. All right. Have the intake on a clampulator, and got a pen. Shake well. Seems to be flowing. Let's just see what happens. Coloring plastic with pens. It's kind of hard to get it down in the crevasses a little bit. It does pretty good on the smooth surfaces, it seems. It's kind of hard to see on this white plastic, which is kind of by design as far as this little exercise goes, because I kind of want to just see how it applies to both dark and white plastics. And as I'm finishing up coloring, it's just kind of weird. I never really thought there would be a day that I'm coloring my model with a pen. I guess this is the new way of doing things, which is okay. We're going to set that aside and see how fast it dries. All right, I have the engine here. We're going to see how it does on the black plastic. Here we go. We're just kind of coloring. Looks pretty good. I'm just kind of like, ooh. It's kind of like it's a little bit difficult to get it all down into the crevasses. I don't think this is really what these are designed to do, to be honest. So this is kind of a test. This is kind of a tough thing for them to do. As I said, I think I just said that. And ooh, that's like a lot of paint just came out. And we're gonna, hopefully that stays kind of where it needs to go. So I think, yeah, look at it, it's running. Hey, I'm using these for the first time, just like maybe you guys are too. And I don't think I would really use a marker to this level. I would use a brush. I think you have a lot more control, but these are probably good for doing small touch-up things. But the main reason I'm using them is this is the naked group build. No paint. And this is kind of testing the waters, if you will. This is not really what we're supposed to be doing, but I just didn't want an all black transmission. And need to try these guys out. I don't want the, we'll have to leave it up to Sodak to say if this is outside of scope, because I certainly don't want any naked police to show up. That would be not ideal in anybody's book. It's just kind of interesting to color your model with a pen. I remember the old Testors paint pens. They were kind of garbage. They worked good the first time, and then when you went to use them again, they were totally dried up. At least the ones that I used, and since then I just kind of stick with real paint and brushes. And so, well, I mean, this is just an interesting thing. See if this is going to be the new way of building models. I don't really think so, because like I said, I think the old school brush and paint is much better. It's certainly not black anymore, and it's probably going to need some touch up. Should have filled that seam a lot better. But I'm going to just let this dry, maybe touch it up, and go from there. No mess though. Got a dark iron. We're going to try this on the black parts. Doing paint pen. Ooh, this is a very dark color. Is it a color? Yeah, I can kind of see it. I might want a color that's a little bit... I'd do some layering effects. See if they do stuff like that. And normally, I would zip these off, put them on a clampolator, and clean all the mold lines off. But that's not really what this project's all about. It's interesting. As it's drying, I think it's lightening up. See a before and after. It's like coloring. How novel. I still think like something like this, I would probably rather paint with real paint and then use these as to highlight. But since Mr. Sodak says we can't use paint, there we go. We can color things. So trying not to cheat. That's what we got.
And here's the finished engine. So I guess I didn't cheat because all of the paint is markers. I did apply a little bit of dull coat to the valve covers and alternator. That got a little bit of the panel liner. Oh, and I also put some dull coat on the oil pan to tone its chrome down a little bit. Fan belt is sanded to try to give it a little bit different finish than the pulleys, because that's the black plastic. The air cleaner is still chrome, has a little bit of panel liner on it, and I made a little decal that was on clear decal paper because I didn't want to trim it, so it's a little candy-like. The filter element, folks, that is just an orange Sharpie with some panel liner flown on it. And I did marker the carburetor with the gold that is in the kit. And the thing you're noticing probably is the spark plug wires. Yep, that is an unpainted 3D printed distributor that I printed, and plug wires. I just felt like it needed that. That kind of helps it. That, I don't know, that really looks pretty cool to me. Oh, the oil filter. That is cut from the white plastic engine, just so I had a white oil filter. I just lobbed off the black one and replaced it with the white one. So hopefully this engine isn't cheated, and it looks like a pretty good stopping place. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.